Hello everyone, this is Steve with the free Bullion Investment Guide. Today is January 4th. Now I'm doing a review and outlook price analysis video for gold. And this is the 4-hour chart. And to quickly review last week's video, if I were to sum it up in one word, I would say I was wrong. I thank everybody who gave me a thumbs up, but quite honestly, I didn't deserve it. Because I had shown you, well, let me just go over what I said real quick. I've been showing you, it's been 2 weeks. It's been since before Christmas since I posted a video. I had this rising channel here. I had basically stated that I expected gold to stay below the 1480 level. I had shown you this rising wedge pattern. I expected gold to break below it. I am a bull on gold, but I did not expect to see gold break out the way that it did. As you can see, we had, up until my last video, we had low volume, and I just completely expected gold to continue to meander sideways and stay inside this rising wedge, maybe move up about 50 cents or so over the last couple of weeks. But instead, gold has completely shot to the moon. It has broken resistance level after resistance level. It has turned this descending channel into a bull flag, which I did state in previous videos that this could just turn into a giant bull flag, which it did, which I will get to in the outlook here in a second. So to continue to go over, gold broke through all of these resistance levels. 1480, it was just meandering sideways below it. I really didn't see it to break above it, which it did. It broke right through it, also at 1520 and 1535. Right now, resistance holds at 1555. In the MACD, it is selling in oversold territory as well as in the RSI. Now, I want to switch real quick and show you some outlook points of view because, well, first of all, there's no new patterns to find really in the daily chart. There's nothing to find here. Sooner or later, some kind of resistance is going to be found, and traders will find. We'll see some profit taking. We will see as a total profit takers coming into the market and profiting off of all of the recent upside. But we're seeing little bull flags all in this march up to, and we may continue to see this just as a small little bull flag here, but there's nothing really to show you on the daily chart. I'm going to switch to another gold chart without all of my resistance and support lines, and I want to show you the weekly chart and the monthly chart. This is the weekly chart here, and really what I want to pay attention to, you can see this is really just a bull flag here. If we were to point it out, and on the weekly chart you can really point it out, and you can point out others, and you can see where they were formed and where the traders were just trading it down, and they were just seeing, they wait until their mark hit before they were going to buy again, and that's really what we were seeing. And you can see it in other places where the price of gold marches up. So what I wanted to show you, though, is the MACD and the RSI. On the weekly chart, we're seeing that on the weekly chart where we could continue to see some more move to the upside, but it is clearly in oversold territory. But the histogram chart is showing that it's basically in neutral territory. Even though the signal lines are in oversold territory, the histogram chart is basically showing that it's just in neutral territory on the weekly chart. And on the the RSI, the relative strength index, we are just about to break above into overbought week as well. Now on the monthly chart, it's kind of showing that it's kind of weaning. The on the monthly chart, we could see some downside in the long run. So maybe after this week, we may continue to see some more rise out of the dollar because of the issues with the U.S. and the Middle East, with Iran, and simply the Fed came out as more accommodative in their minutes. At the end of this coming week, we have the non-farm payroll report, which will likely weigh on the dollar and gold for that matter. So let me move back to the daily chart, and what I'm going to say for its outlook. First, I'm going to remove all of these lines because the bull flag proved itself, the descending channel proved itself to be a bull flag, and my other patterns were all blown out last week and the week before, but you really can't get on the daily chart. You can't really put find a pattern with this movement. It's what I try to do when an asset like gold or silver or any asset goes straight up like this and you do technical analysis, you really just shut up and get out of the way of it and let it do what it's going to do and wait for it to settle down a little bit before you can try to make analysis on it. But the MACD on the daily chart is an oversold territory, but on the weekly chart, remember though that it's still just below overbought territory. So it's actually on the MACD on the weekly chart, it's just around neutral, but on the RSI it's around it's getting close to overbought territory. It's still in the pink on the weekly chart. On the monthly chart it's a little different, and on the daily chart we can clearly see that it is an oversold territory, but it could continue to climb simply because of fundamental analysis of the events that it's happened early last week, not early last week, I'm talking about Thursday or Friday with bombing Iran, and then I think we bombed northern Iraq again, something I just saw the headline, and it's basically trying to eradicate Iran out of Iraq, I think, is what is the issue there. So we may see another bull flag, a small little bull flag come out, like on the hourly chart, which we are seeing. We may see another rise to the upside before it continues to break to the, we may, as I was saying, we may see another rise to the upside before we see another bull flag, and then another rise to the upside. So we'll have to see what gold does over the next week. But with all the issues with Iran and people heading to safe havens, we'll really have to pay attention to the news to see how gold moves. But 1555 stands as resistance. Above that, I'm going to have to pan out here to get it to see what the levels are here. Above 1555 we have 1575, and then also 1590, and above that 1615. So again, I am expecting the price of gold really to follow fundamental analysis. Fundamentals. Likely, as long as there is chaos and uncertainty in the world, that is a positive for gold and for traders to run to safe havens like gold and silver. So we'll simply have to pay attention to the news and see what happens. But the weekly is saying that we could see a continue rise. The monthly isn't, but it's the monthly. So there you go. The monthly, you can't go day to day on that. And on the daily chart, which isn't where we're at right now, on the daily chart, it looks like we may see some consolidation below 1555, and then we'll have to really see if things die down between the U.S. and Iran as far as words of war and actions, and see what it comes out with the non-farm payroll report, see what comes out of that to get an idea of what the Fed's going to do at their next meeting. So anyways, that's it for this week's review and outlook. I thank you for your time. Take care, and God bless.